Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of the Articulate Fly, and we're back with another East Tennessee fishing report with Ellis Ward. Ellis, how are you?
I'm doing well, Marv. How are you?
As always, just trying to stay out of trouble, and I think we're in the easy bake for the rest of the summer. What are you seeing on the water?
Yeah, independent of temperatures being what they are, which is for the uninitiated, hot and humid. We're getting these. I mean, it's been this for the last, God, I want to say month or more, where we're just getting wrecked like 3 or 4 nights of the week. With these 30, 45-minute bursts. And so it's put some nice color in the water, not enough. There's been some days where it's a little blown out in terms of the clarity, but it's at the same time, it's not enough to create, for example, 24/7 releases on both rivers. So it has been very interesting. It's also created a few different scenarios where the fish are just going, bugs, fish, everything's just so on. And even when things are off this time of year, it feels different, right? You get these bite windows that are just so spicy. And for anyone who's fished for the last month or so, they know exactly what I'm talking about, where it's like all of a sudden you're seeing fish not just hitting streamers every other cast, but they're rising everywhere. And I'm having to make the call and have the discussion of, all right, well, I'm gonna have to row us out, or we're gonna be late, but we're gonna sit here and count fish on dry flies for a little bit. So that has been the case. I think that the emphasized these bite windows with exclamation points have a little bit to do with that barometer and these really powerful storms that come through that don't really last all that long. But same deal, yellow bugs most of the time, and anything from a 16 to 22, I kind of err on the smaller side of things. And then streamer fishing, it's been pretty consistent, and I've had a few converts from the let's reliably get some eats on flies that have a little bit of weight to, I will admit, to some manipulation on my end, just getting people to step out of the comfort zone and fish a drunk and fish a swim bog and fish these flies that are closer to the surface, closer to the boat in open water, and watch a brown come hit it from below right in the belly and look back at me and say, oh my God, you were right. And so I don't know, the whole thing is, and we've talked this to death, I think probably before and during the podcast, but the whole thing is streamer fishing in general is kind of a little bit of a journey, and it just depends on which path you want to take. But I can summarize that and say most paths have been leading to good-sized brown trout eating flies, and occasionally, depending on the hook set, they end up in the net. So it's been a good last few weeks, and been sneaking in a little musky fishing too. Upper French Broad has been hovering in the upper 60s in the morning. So kind of looking towards that September, October, November, and then just mousing every opportunity I can get, which is it's been productive. Kind of led to the development of a new little mouse pattern. But maybe we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah, we'll save that for next time. I do have one fishing question for you, though. So, like, with the rain that you're getting, say, fishing downstream before the doe comes into the Watauga, are you getting like a really nice kind of like muddy plume coming out of the doe that's good for streamer fishing?
Yeah, so this is we are jumping into like hyper local in terms of both what I'm about to talk about and also specifically the rainfall. We can get dumped on where the little ag creeks are putting out color that, let's say I'm passing like the lower end or like I'm picking someone up on the lower end. And it's, it's off. It's pretty colored off. And we're doing a big run, go up above the doe. We come by the doe and it's low and clear. And so other times it's the opposite. The little ag creeks, the little streams that are around here are clear, and the doe is just juicing, and it's that fully frothed latte brown that I love for both for streamer fishing, for browns, and for the prospect of catching stripers. I don't like it for mousing, so it's I want to have my cake and eat it too. But yeah, short answer is yes. There continues to be a good amount of color in the water, so the browns respond positively to that.
Well, there you go. Well, we've got a question from Rodrigo, and he listens to a lot of our stuff, and he wanted to have you explain how you grade your bucktails.
Yeah, so this has been like everything else, that there's been sort of an evolution in the process. And the short answer is, how rude of me. The short answer is there are 5 grades. Grade 5 is all of the tails are. I had someone ask if there should be some sort of laundering, like if they should they wash it when they get it. I was like, dude, these tails are clean enough to eat off of when you get them, and I brush them out so they're fun to tie, like they're easy to tie with. And so what you get with the grade 5 is something that is slightly cheaper, a lower price point than the large distributors, and is in the like 3.5 inch range. I have so many tails that I don't actually price for sale, just because they're a little wimpy. So the grade 5s are like reliably a 3.5 inch, not that big tail, but you're not getting junk. Grade 4 is basically selected as something that's 80-20 most of the time, going to be better than what you're going to get in the shop or online or whatever for the same price. 3.5 to 4 inch fibers, and people throw around numbers like 5 and 6 inches. That's, if you've seen a tail with 6 inch fiber, with lots of 6 inch fibers that aren't just outliers, they look insane. The grade 3s are, I think that's kind of the sweet spot where you can be tying really big flies, and they're, they got the 4 to 4.5 maybe with some outliers that are longer. They're pretty full. The grade 2 is a really big tail with long fibers. And at that point, it's like I'm pricing them at $25 for a reason. If the supply and demand curve actually existed for bucktail, and the tails you normally see sell for, 15, 16, $17, the grade 2s on that supply demand curve would be like $200 or more. I mean, it's just that. So there aren't that many of those. The grade 1s are the ones that you just don't see. And they're very big. And so those, I tend to have, that might represent somewhere between 1% and 5% of a given batch. And yeah, I'll stop there.
Well, there you go. Well, folks, we love questions on the articulate fly. You can email me or DM me on social media, whatever is easiest for you. And if we use your question, I will send you some articulate fly swag, which will probably include a butcher shop sticker or two. We're drawing for some cool stuff from Ellis at the end of the season. And I would say, too, remember that we host our community on Patreon. And one of the perks of joining that community at various tiers, one of the benefits is you get a discount on Ellis's bucktail. So if Ellis's description has you salivating and you want to tie some predator flies or jigs or whatever, check it out. And it's a win-win for everybody. And Ellis, before I let you hop this evening, you want to let folks know where they can find you to talk about bucktails, fishing, get in the boat, all that kind of good stuff?
Sure. Best way to do that is just reach out to me directly at 513-543-0019. Website is elliswardflies.com. And you can find me on Instagram at Ellis Ward Guides.
Well, there you go. As I always say, folks, this time of year, first of all, stay cool, but you owe it to yourself to get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Ellis.
Appreciate it, Marv.